Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Whiskered Woodcarver. I haven't been carving for a while, so hopefully this won't be too dangerous. But we are going to start today. We are going to continue or start a new little project. I got a bunch of orders for this little bad boy to be carved. Some people want it for some Christmas stuff, and so I need to start building up my stock. They're little ornaments. I put like little, see if I can get this to focus. Get little, I hang them. Gosh, it's not focusing. Anyway, that's what little ornaments like that I'm going to be carving. One of those today. We'll see how far we get. I've got a bunch I need to paint, so in a couple weeks or a couple episodes, I'll probably start painting some of these again. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go right to the carving cam, and we will get going. Alrighty here. So let me get these little focus a little more. It's been such a while since I've done this. It's gotta get my setup going again. Alrighty, let's see. Whoops, almost dropped my knife. Let me get my carving glove on here. Always be safe. I've actually cut my hand by not using one of these. So this is a glove that's rated to, I think, like glassworkers use this glove. So it's really, really good. I'm gonna put my thumb guard on here. The thumb guard I wear on my hand when I go back, and I go back a little bit here. So let's see here. Get my knife ready and my block of wood that I'm gonna carve, and my pencil, and let's go ahead and sharpen the knife because I haven't done that for a while. This is the Flexcut slip strop right here that you can see like this. It's pretty. Mine's pretty beat up and used, but it works really well. And this is their sharpening compound that I'm just putting on top of the leather here. And it's kind of like a really hard crayon. So, hey, well, thank you, Ronnie said. Rosie's saying cute. Yeah, so thanks, Rosie. We'll see how far we can get. This is what we're going to be carving today. My little penguin. I really like carving these. They're really easy because I don't have to really do a lot of, I don't have to go to the bandsaw and cut it down and make a pattern. I can just kind of grab these. It's great for when I'm like sitting on around the fire and doing that kind of stuff and just being outside and not having to stress about it. It's more of a whittling, I think, project than probably carving. So, oh, well, thank you for showing the kids. Do you have carvers, Rosie, in your family? You know, for kids, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll make little hand tools, and they'll let the kids start by using kind of soap. They'll carve with soap. Why did my music quit? That's really weird. Let me do this again. There we go. But all I'm doing here is just going to kind of across. I always like to sharpen my knives at the beginning of any project. Oh, you got some carvers in the family. That's very, very cool. You'll see right here that this little black stuff's coming. That's actually a little bit of the knife coming off. So that's what's sharpening it, just rubbing it across. If you keep honing your knives, you don't have to keep, you don't have to take it to a stone or something if you keep it going. So, all right, for the little penguin here, let's see here. There's my little bear. We'll carve him sometime during the show. But I love carving. Something about doing something with your hands is really cool. So this is why I like doing these little penguins. This is a block of wood, and all I did is I trimmed it down. This is actually from the wood is basswood, and it's from the they have a carving kit. I bought it on here, and it comes with 16 pieces, and I just love the 1x1x6. And so I just cut down the stock a little bit. Here's what it looks like when it comes out of the box. So it's a little bit longer. I can almost get 2 out of them, but I'll use these for another little figure. But I just cut it down, and then I'm ready to go. I have a couple of these ready, thrown in my bag, so when I want to go carve like outside or something, I'll just do that. And all I have to do is, I can almost do these by feel so much I've done these before, but I just make some lines where the major things are, like his feet, the top of his beak, the bottom of his beak, the top of his beak, the top of the fringe of the hat, and then kind of where that ball tassel starts on his hat. So I'll just do that. I make those cuts, Then all I do is I go and I make those using, this is the Flexcut detailed knife. I like this one. This is a great one. If I had to get one knife, it'd probably be this one. I really like it because it's really, it just really works really well. And I like not having to use a bunch of different knives as I'm carving. So I'll just make some stop cuts right here. This is where his feet are going to be, just like this. So Rosie, what are your kids? I see that you. Oh, your 10-year-old is watching. Is he a carver? Like I said, soap is a great way to start, but one thing is always wear. Even I'm an old dude, and I still wear my gloves and my thumb protection because I sliced my palm open. I had the wrong kind of glove on. I just had a regular like canvas glove, and it went through there and 11 stitches. So always wear a safety glove, and you can pick these up. Make sure they're rated for glass work. They will protect you from slices. You can still puncture, but anyway. Oh, he's not a carver, but he loves to build. Oh, well, so hopefully he'll have a love of carving after this show, Rosie, because I wish I would have started when I was 10. I started late in life because I thought I couldn't afford the knives, and they're really very affordable. And I just wish I would have done it earlier, because I see some of the guys who carve now and do just such an excellent job. Right now I'm just making these little cuts to kind of let me know where to make the kind of the details on the penguin. See there what I'm doing? Right, like that. This would be a great project, Rosie, for your son to actually start with, because it's not too difficult and it's a lot of fun. And if you mess up, it's pretty forgiving to go back and fix. He loves to draw. That is awesome. Well, keep that drawing skill up, because a lot of people are really good. They'll make a good pattern and then they can carve it onto wood. So I don't think I have any patterns around here I can show you. Maybe I'll do that on another show. But yeah, drawing's a great skill to have. I wish I was a better artist in that way. And so I've done this so much that I can just eyeball it. I just go around. I'll just make another little stop cut, just like this. Right here. I'll do that on each side. And this is going to be the tassel on the top of the hat. Just like this. Stop cuts. The other side, kind of eyeball it. A lot of times I'll take the knife and just go across and kind of see where it is. When you first start, I'd go ahead and like draw it out a little bit, maybe even measure it. But I've done a ton of these little penguins, and so yeah. All right, so we got kind of our outline, and I kind of go down, and so I know that this is going to be the penguin's kind of beak, and so I'll go ahead and make where I know the hat's going to come down on the side, and this is why I wish I was a better artist, Rosie, but I'll just do a little thing where I'll know where my hat's going to go, the rim of the hat. This is going to come around the back here, come down, so kind of like this, around the back. And like I said, I've done this so much, I could probably do it without a pattern. Let's see, kind of messed up there. Let's go down a little lower. So anyway, all right, let's take some wood off. So this is going to be the beak, and this is kind of his body, and there's his feet down there at the bottom. So we will just start. And I don't really have a I don't really have a start. I just kind of go, and then I just kind of switch different places. So taking some wood off here around the beak. You guys can see okay. Like that. taking some of this around the hat down. And I'll make a little line here for some of the stop cuts that I'll go to. The stop cut is where you kind of make a cut across the grain where then you can go up to that and it pops it out, just like that. It's not very clean. Get the idea. So Rosie, what's your favorite thing that your kid likes to draw? So I'm just going around kind of getting that hat, kind of this where I want it to go to right there. Ask if I could carve with bread. You could. Bread might be a little too soft. That would be kind of fun though. I know people carve in butter. So there used to be in fact, I think the lady just passed away recently who used to do the famous butter carvings at some fair. It may have been Wisconsin. But you could carve with butter. I would start, and I did this when I was in Cub Scouts, is I carved in soap. And they have you can have like little wooden tools. And then you could get, as you get better, you can use a knife. But I made a, and you could Google this and look online, but there's a really cool soap pattern for like a turtle. And I remember carving that when I was a kid. So that would be what I would start with. And it's kind of fun. Then you have like dragons. That would be cool to carve dragons. There's a carver I follow, I think it's on Pinterest, who carves some amazing looking fantasy figures, and dragons are one of them. That would be cool. Yeah. I would start with a soap dragon and then work your way up to wood, because then you don't know what to do. And the wood that I use and that I would recommend for beginners would be basswood, because it's light, it's easy to carve, and it's easy to paint. So you could actually paint your dragon whatever color you'd want it. What's his name? I'm trying to think of the guy's name who does the carvings of the dragons. So what I'm doing now is just taking some wood off down in this area like this, right here. See where the top is, and I'll start rounding out the top. Now you could use a bandsaw and take some of this wood out, but I kind of like to just take some wood off doing it this way. Because it's a little therapeutic for me. And I'm just going up to where I cut, and then it just kind of pops out, just like that. And then if it doesn't, kind of feathers a little bit like that, you just go in there and you make another cut, just like that. There's no race when you're carving, so take your time, enjoy the process. You're not trying to get a whole one done in a day. You're just taking your time, looking at different areas, kind of moving it around. Just like this. It's very relaxing to do. And the cool thing when you use a sharp knife, there's not really a lot of dust. You get like these chips and things, and it's pretty easy to clean up. I just have a little broom that I sweep things up, so you could actually, the best I think is sitting outside around a fire, but you can also do it inside. Oh, so his dad's a carpenter. That's cool. My dad did a lot. We had a wood shop growing up. Yeah. Watch your dad carefully. Watch what he does, because that is a great skill and will take you some awesome places in life. Even if you don't do it for a living, it's really cool when you can fix things and know how to make things with wood. Very cool. So I'm just kind of taking some more of this wood down here. And I would recommend like for a 10-year-old would probably be a medium-sized knife. I would, like I said, start with soap. But if you're really careful, I mean, kids were carving and making stuff and using tools. They've been doing that for centuries. So if you're careful and smart and you're responsible, there's no reason why you can't do this too. But always wear your safety glove. And this one, this thumb guard, when I pull back to me, it kind of protects my thumb in case, you know, it slips off or something. So I like using both of them. So. Just kind of whittle some of this out of here. So for those of you who are just joining us, we are working on carving a little penguin Santa. And this is a good beginner project. There's a lot of them if you look on Pinterest that you can get too, but I like ones where you don't have a really detailed pattern, and if you don't have a bandsaw to cut it with, this is a good one to start. But I do like the dragon idea. I'll have to look for maybe a dragon pattern. That would be fun to carve. My next one I'm going to work on probably is going to be, I found a really cool like totem pole stormtrooper from Star Wars, and I really want to carve that because that would be fun. So I'm sure I have this down. Let's put these little cuts down here so I know where we're at. So I have music playing. Can you guys hear that, or is it too loud, or is it too soft? Let me know. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Cut so over the. Draw my line very good. This is the fringe I'm just kind of marking out for the hat fringe here. The lines are a little off, so I'm just kind of slicing across the grain of the wood, and that way when I cut up to it, it'll stop. That's why it's called a stop cut. Yeah, I didn't draw that right at all. That's better. So this is actually called roughing it out. So I'm just kind of not doing too much detail work right now. I'm just kind of roughing out, getting some wood off. Sometimes this is my favorite part. Cut in there to get some, make a line a little defined. There we go. Careful on the beak, because I've slipped and cut it off, and he's had a stubby nose before. Once in a while you'll get weird texture in the wood, and it's just the way the wood is grown or whatever. So let's see. It's kind of funny right there without having that part rounded down. So let's start on that in a bit. When it starts pulling or you notice something different, it's time to sharpen your blade a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. Using this slip strop again, Flexcut. So just a couple passes on it should sharpen it up a little bit, and we'll be good to go. That's one thing. Always want to keep your knives sharp. Like that. Yeah. Start rounding this off a little bit. Sometimes this end grain here at the end can be really hard, and you have to really work at it. So just be real careful. Take small cuts so you don't slip off, because this is where things can slip and gouge and try to force it too much. Just take little bits off. Sometimes I'll even spray some like a 50% solution of water or and alcohol, and that kind of softens it up. I should have had some of that out today, but I don't have any with me. But that's another good way. If you're having trouble, it's really hard. Like I can tell this is already going to be hard. That's kind of even shiny. That end grain sometimes hard to carve. But just take your time and go around it. Keep just working it. But just go slow. Small little cuts. Just like that. Once in a while you'll get some basswood that kind of gets little fuzzies, and so when we get further on in the process, I'll show you how to kind of mitigate that. And depending on, sometimes I have them have a little small little ball on the top, sometimes I have like bigger ones. This one's kind of smaller, here you can see. You can also kind of take the same idea and do, like this is a little Santa poking out of a chimney ornament. And it's the same kind of idea, it's just a little bit different. But you you still do it with the 1x1x6s basswood. So these are fun to do too. So that's the thing, is as you continue to get better with your carving, you can like modify it to create whole new little pieces. These Flexcut knives do a really, really great job. They're great knives for beginners and also for old hands. I can't see what you posted there, Rosie. I'll try to. I can't see it on my little iPad here. Not sure what it posts. See how it's kind of splitting? Oh, your son did it. Okay. It's splitting a little bit there, and that's just the way the wood is, and so just got to be careful around it. It's just kind of splitting in a weird way, and so sometimes I'll go against the grain a little bit differently, and that kind of helps. The way sometimes it looks. There you go, I made that tree. It's they're all different. That's what's cool about carving. Everything's different. Even if you carve the same style, everyone is unique in some way. Well, I'm glad your son, Rosie, is liking this. It's always cool to see young people taking interest in carving or woodworking, and it's cool. His dad is a carpenter. Good carpenters are hard to find, so that's really cool. So you can see it's coming together. It's kind of weird right now, but yeah, it's gonna happen. Take it, and this is where that thumb guard comes in handy when I come up some of these other cuts where you're cutting towards yourself. Taking some of the wood off. It's really good. In case it slips. It's amazing how much you can do. You know, what have we been carving? Half an hour, maybe? Like I said, it's not a race. You just want to, if your hands start hurting or you get frustrated, just set it down for a while, take a walk, start again the next day, or to be fun, not stressful. If you mess up, you know what? Just practice. Continue to do it. This wood's not that expensive. There's a lot of pieces that I messed up before. And one of the things that I like to do too is I have a scrap piece of wood that, like, if I'm like, oh, did this work or not? I'll try it on that scrap piece of wood before I do it. Especially like if you're carving like not like these pieces don't have it, but like eyes or something like that. And painting. I have a scrap piece of wood that I paint on because for me, painting eyes can be really hard to do and takes a little practice. So I always practice a couple, like putting the dots or the pupils in the eye a couple times before I actually go and paint it on a finished piece. But we'll do some painting in a couple episodes of this. Flat up there at the top. You see where it's moving along. Some people have asked about my setup. Got a Canon M50 shooting my face, and then I have a little Logitech mini tripod sitting here pointing at my and it's just a web camera that I have on like a mini tripod so you guys can see what I'm carving. So I think that's pretty cool. I'll let you guys see what's going on. One of the things that got me interested in carving was I used to go to this place called Silver Dollar City in Missouri. It had carvers there. It was actually kind of elevated. You'd walk around them. They'd be in there carving, and I used to love watching them. So learn a lot from just watching it. So hopefully some people like your son Rosie gets the love of carving and wants to do it. The skill won't be lost. And I wouldn't even say I'm very skillful. I just like doing it. There's some master carvers that are super impressive that have been carving since they were, your son's age. The stuff they can do is spectacular. Some people will finish one whole, like they'll do the whole hat and then they'll move on to the body. I'm more of I'm going to move around and see what's going on kind of thing. That's just the way I like to work. Like some of these bigger pieces, I still do the same thing. Like this is one I found out in a magazine, and it was probably the hardest one I'd done for a while. So, it turned out pretty good, but I like Mr. Gnome Santa there. But yeah, so, take your time, and you'll continue to get better and better. Once in a while, your hands will kind of give your hands a little squeeze and rotate it. You want to get, hurt yourself or get carpal tunnel or something like that. Just continue to stretch. And I mean, when you first start carving, your hands will like ache. So just be ready for that, and then take a break. Get up and walk around. Shake them out. That sometime. Let's do like a soap carving to show kids. Easy way. It's just really splitting right there. See how that, you can kind of see how just the way the grain's going, and it's really dry and it's kind of splintering, so you just need to be careful. I'll kind of come in different angles at it. It just seems to have that right there. What I'll probably do next time when we start on this project is spray it with some of that alcohol and water solution to help with that. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, my no Santa. Yeah. For my first attempt at this pattern, I was really happy with it. So there's some things I'd change. I'm working on another one. It's got kind of a big schnauzer, but I kind of like it. So. And then this is the bear. And I talked about eyes before. I really struggled with getting those eyes right. In fact, you can tell I wiped it off a couple times and redid it. So just part of the learning process. All of mine, I like to antique, and you'll see that they're not, when they first come out when you paint them, they're really bright and kind of stark, because I use acrylic paints on them, and I like to kind of dull that down, and I put an antiquing solution on them. And then like this one, the other ones I put a finishing wax on, which kind of helps keep dust off of, and so I really like kind of that antique look. Sarah, thank you for following me here over on Amazon. I appreciate that. So if you look at my storefront, my account, you'll see that I do a lot of social media, because that's kind of my day job, and this is kind of my hobby, fun stuff. So I kind of do both. I'd kind of been slacking off on the carving lately. So I'm starting to pick that back up again because I miss it. And it's summer and it just feels like it's time to start doing it again. So I'm doing this beak. Carve for probably another 10-15 minutes. About an hour I think we've been going. So see how long we've been. Oh, we've only been going 38 minutes. Yeah, so we'll go for an hour. Switch some of this stuff up here. See if there's any more comments. Lathan. So is that your son's name? Lathan likes them. Cool. Well, Lathan, I'm glad that you like carving, because get yourself, ask your dad, if he can help you, because he knows he knows carpentry, so he knows tools, and so I'm sure he's probably helped you with that. So yes, I would. I don't know when your birthday is or when Christmas is still a ways away. Those are always good things to ask for. So you see how that's harder even at this top here when I'm going across it. So you just got to be really careful. Get your fingers out of the way. Take small cuts because it's hard and it's a little bit slippery. So make some small cuts. Make sure your knife is sharp. So actually, you cut more with dull knives than they do sharp knives, because dull knives tend to slip, and it's a little more dangerous. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and just hone it up a little bit. Just do a couple, and I kind of angle this. I'm angling it up a little bit, so I'm not just putting it flat on the strop here. I'm doing it at a little bit of an angle. It's taking off just a little bit of that metal and honing it, bringing that edge back to be true. Now they have a lot longer strops that a lot of people use. You'll see them go like the old razors, old barbers did. I have a couple of those. I just like this one because it's compact and I can put it on my desk, and it has different things to sharpen. We didn't get into it, but like V-tools and some other stuff to put like the detail. I use a V-tool on the top there and do it on there too, and so those other places keep it sharp. In fact, Lathan, I'll show you. This is a V-tool that I use to actually put like the beards and in the top of the hats and on the bears, like its fur. And it's this little tool, and this is a palm tool. It's in your palm that you use, and it's a little. I'll see if you can see. It's a little the edge there. And that's what lets they have like V tools and they have little mini gouges. And this is Flexcut's the micro palm tool set. And it's just really, really small, but it does, here's a scrap piece of wood I got right over here. Notice, it makes this little squiggle. See, it makes a little line there. So that's what you can use to make beard hair, and there's different sizes of V-tools. You can make those little details in your carvings like that. They're kind of hard to keep sharp, but that's what this little switch drop is. It comes with a lot of these, like a 3-knife set with Flexcut and some other stuff, but you just go across here and just kind of sharpen it up just like that. And then you can be outside a little bit with this. Keep those sharp. So they're a little harder to keep sharp, so you kind of have to do it a little bit more often, but they're still very, very cool. So where's my tool? There we go. So, oh, okay. Well, yeah, so it's something that you can, like I said, start with, Lath and I would start with some soap and do it that way. You could probably even, I'm trying to think, they may even have some, and I'll look on Amazon, that they have some soap carving utensils. I bet they do. I think I've seen them. That's what I would start with. You can get really good and understand how things work, and then I would work up to basswood like this. Start something simple like this penguin. Do that. So I think that would be pretty cool to start. Live in a small town in the mountains. I bet there's some people there who already carve. Like I used to go to the Ozarks, and that was a town in the mountains, and there's a lot of good carvers there. And Lathan, you probably, at your school library, I bet there's some books on carving. If you look, or at your local library. If you're really interested in it. And since you're watching this, there's a lot of great carvers on YouTube. Oh gosh, what's the name? There's one guy, if you just do search for wood carving, he'll probably come up. He's one of the most famous ones, and he does some really cool stuff. So I would check him out, definitely, if you're interested in carving, because he does some really fun things. Gosh, I can't remember his name. Oh, I'm so bad. Now I'm just kind of a little bit beneath in here, trying to get, his beak. Sometimes I have him have small beaks, sometimes I make him have a little bit bigger beaks, but this one's kind of got a big one today. Let's see here, make sure everything's going okay. Continue to round out this top part of his hat. Just remember, Lathan, when you're doing this, is take your time. Don't get in a rush. Don't try to like if it's not coming or it's not like sometimes people take too much. They try to take a too big bite out of the wood. So just take little cuts, just small little cuts. The type of carving I do is I like to see that it's a carving. Some people will sand it so it's smooth after they carve it and some stuff like that. I like to see the little cuts because to me it shows that it's been carved out of a piece of wood. So I believe it's called Scandinavian style carving or Ozark style carving. Yes. Is there a starter kit that I can get him? I would, like I said, look for the soap making tools. I didn't put that in the carousel. But a good like this size. This is a 1.5 inch. I think it's a KN13 Flexcut. It depends on how big his hands are. 10 years old. I think would. There's also a smaller one. This is another detailed knife. It's a smaller one. Now, it's going to be easier to take as much wood off of as once, but it gives a little bit more control and detail. It just depends on how big his hands are. But I think it's like, this knife is, I believe, like $27, I'm pretty sure. So it's not super expensive, but I would get away to sharpen it. But if you can, and do a search on Amazon for like soap carving tools, and I think they have a set of wooden soap carving tools. And then you could just get a bar of like ivory or dove or coast, and that's a great way to practice for people who are just starting out. Okay, yeah, so Rosie, thank you for following me. I will try to, after this show, see if I can find it and add it to the carousel down below or to my storefront. And I'll see if I can find a book about that too. The cool thing about soap making, soap carving, you don't really need to sharpen the utensils. They're kind of just there. And so that might be something good for him to start. But I have a feeling, what I've heard about Lathan, that he will graduate to wanting to carve wood pretty quickly. So, but that's an easy way to start. And you can also like practice like some patterns on it too. So. And there's some good books on whittling that are in my carousel, I believe, that are good for just how to whittle a dog, how to do some other stuff pretty simply, not having to have like a bandsaw to cut out a pattern or something. I probably need to put together some sort of package. But anyway, I'll try to find that for you. So. Because we're done here, probably about 10 minutes, I'll try to pop back in and drop it in there, if I can find them. I appreciate you guys watching, Rosie, you and Lathan watching the entire time. That's really cool. I'm trying to decide what the best time to restart this carving show up, what time of day. Makes sense now that I think about it. If there's young carvers, do it after school. They could watch. It's okay if it gets a little lopsided because I'm going to round it down, and I kind of work on the top, then I'll go back and flip it over and work on the other side. So just remember, you can always take away more wood. You can't add it back on. But some guys fix their mistakes, and I know my dad does this. Carve sometimes, that if he takes something off, like I don't have a picture now, but let's say like I do a snowman, he's got kind of carrot nose, and that's really can be a little delicate, and I've sliced that off before, and I've just used super glue to stick it back on. So like if I accidentally cut this nose off, I could probably stick it back on with super glue and nobody would know. There's always ways around mistakes. I know a lot of people kind of freak out about like, oh, how do I make the hat have the circle or the perfect circle or whatever? Yeah, you don't have to stress about it. This one's not perfect and it still looks pretty cool, I think. So these are great to give away as gifts at Christmas. I've sold some. I sold one time my whole stock to a lady online who bought every single one of my hat and gave them away to her family at Christmas. There's something about handmade things that people just really, really love. why Etsy is so popular. A lot of good carvers on Etsy too. But Pinterest and Etsy are some of the best places to get inspiration. For how-to videos, YouTube, just do a search for wood carving. You'll get a lot of chainsaw carvers and stuff like that, but you can start getting down to some really good carvers you can watch and get inspired that way. I wish I had YouTube when I was a kid. So, we should get most of this top part done by then. So, starting to shape take in just an hour, which we've got done. Really piece of wood. So, if any questions as we kind of wrap this up, we got about 10 more minutes. So feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. So you could leave it like this and have him have a big little tassel, but I'm going to try to whittle this top part down some more. Especially when you're doing a circle, just take little bitty cuts. You know, look at it, move it around. One of these days we'll do a painting where I show you how to paint these. To be honest, I would rather carve than paint, but that's part of the process. You don't have to paint things, but Lathan, you talked about your dragon. That would be really cool painted. Hear that snap? That's me hitting down towards the center there and kind of rounding that down. It's one of the sounds I love. Is your carving a little snick. Now you could also take this to a bandsaw and cut most of that top part off, but to me there's something very therapeutic about slowly rounding things down from just a stick of wood. Next time we'll probably tackle his body and his feet. Got a lot done on his hat. Plus, it goes faster when you're not explaining things and you're just sitting by the fire or sitting a podcast or whatever. to do it when you're watching TV. That's the thing. You want to pay attention to what you're doing, and it's just not. The whole reason for this is almost getting away from screens sometimes. So that's my reason. Of course, I'm sitting in front of a screen, but you know what I mean. As always, if you've been interested in carving, I would love it if you would just click on some of those items down below, check them out, and, you know, get started in the adventure of carving. I wish I would have done it so much sooner. I always thought I thought it would be too expensive, I wouldn't be able to do it or find stuff, and now it is so easy to learn about it and to actually get the tools, see how the tools are used. So, Rosie, I really think it's cool that you're encouraging Lathan in this, because it's something they can do all their life and get better and better at. Remember, this stage, you're just kind of roughing stuff out. You'll go back and kind of clean it up. But one of the things is having a sharp knife is you'll have cleaner cuts. And you won't have the little fuzzies that you have to deal with later. That's also important when you don't take off too much. Take a little bit at a time. Take your time. See that my knife just slipped off right there? If I wouldn't have had my glove on, that would have been bad. Make this very clean. And I have some tools I'll show you later that helps kind of clean up some of this, the cuts. One of the best things I heard somebody say about carving is you're cutting away shadows. And I thought that was really good. You kind of are. Where things shadows are is you're kind of taking away wood to make depth. And I thought that was a really good explanation. Alright, everybody, I think this is about the time where I say goodbye for now, and we'll continue this project hopefully tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet. Got to do some real work tomorrow. This is fun. But I thank you guys for watching today. I thank you, Lathan, for all your great questions, and Rosie for encouraging your son to carve, and I hope that you guys do that. With that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.